Hey guys, Brian here. Welcome back to the shop. Got essentially another Humpty Dumpty Sumpty here. This casting's off a not real ancient. It's a 2000 something model John Deere crawler, and they're not available anymore. Can't buy a new one. Can't find a used one. I've been searching for quite a long time trying to come up with one, because of this thing being in such bad shape, and there apparently are none out there to be had. Tried bunches of salvage yards and just can't come up with one, so I'm gonna have to weld this one up and fix it. So we got crack going here all the way across, crack up through here into that bolt bore. Got a huge chunk broke out here. There's a crack running across over into here somewhere where this whole flange is sticking up. So you're trying to get that knocked back down where it belongs. That should improve this alignment here too. Then we got more holes blowed out the side over here. There's crack up through there and crack up through there. Some got between the gear teeth and no clearance in there, so when it just rolled around, it just blew the whole side out of it. So gotta weld that up too. So there's a lot of welding on this to be done. Would like to have been able to put this in my oven and heat it up first, but won't fit. It's 1 inch too wide to go in there, so you have to do it with heating it with a torch and welding it out as I go. Do as best I can. So this first thing to do is maybe get my drill and come over here and try and work on terminating some of these cracks. Try and get that piece back in there. Alright, so I've drilled 3 strategic end of crack, hopefully, holes over here through this casting. This thing's really thick in here because I think it's basically holds the whole dozer up, so it's a pretty major structural component, so it's going to need some pretty serious welding for this to be a good repair. And yeah, it's like 2 inches thick there through that boss. Comes back in here, it's not as thick. It's cracked in this bolt bore though, and it's really deep down in there, so that'll be fun trying to dig that out. But I think what I'm going to try and do is start on this top. Hopefully I can get this drove down and back to where it all lines up again like it originally did, and get it tacked good enough to hold these pieces in place. Then I'll come in and cut and V all this out and start laying the weld back in there. But first thing I gotta do is get this heated up before I start trying to beat this back. So hopefully it doesn't crack anymore. Make it a little more pliable. Happy to go back. Needs some persuading. So the persuader is here. Perhaps more accurate to say the persuader is here. So I've got it prepped up to do this one section here. I'm gonna try and get this back in line as best I can. So I'll heat this up and weld this out here, and I'll come back and grind and work all this, try and do what I can in there. You can see where I've drilled through. It's pretty solid thick back here. Then there's a cavity. I've got this boss for this bolt that comes out, and then it goes back around in and gets thin again. I should have made that all one thickness, and the pattern, it's like they were trying to save weight. They should have just left it in there and had some more strength, had some more meat. And that is. Engineers always trying to save weight even on a bulldozer, that way they can sell it to you and add it back because you need it to do anything. Better to just build it in than to have to add it back, but it's whatever. They used to know that, they've forgotten it. So this needs to go in a little laying down. I'll get the torch and try and get this thing prepped up. Well, the more I work on this thing, the more the spider web of cracks appears. So it's cracked up through here, going down that way. Then it spirals down the inside of this bolt hole and comes around and out over here. And I don't have good access to that back in there. So, kind of thinking that I might have to break it to make it better. I think my best bet is to try and file the crack as much as I can out here, get it gone, then take the hammer and bust this thing the rest of the way off the outside. I can weld it back on, and then it only comes over about a ½ inch here, and then the rest is all from the outside. So if I fix this bore, I think I can put this back on. But I need to like come in here and cut this off. I mean, it's already wrecked. What more damage can it do? Alright, so I've got all this dressed off. And what I'm going to do is come in here and pad an inside weld bead all the way around here just to start out. And I have to go back and grind that to fit it up. It's fine. I just want to have a good bond and the the nickel rod in here, and that's what I'll be welding back to, so it should help reduce any stress